Have you ever contemplated why certain women exude a serene, undeniable allure as they grow older, while others pursue external approval and transient fashions? What is their secret? This form of beauty transcends costly attire, impeccable makeup, or adherence to current trends. It is rooted in something more profound. It is timeless, effortless, and emanates from within. The answer may astonish you, as it resides in how these women cultivate inner tranquility, embrace simplicity, and release superfluous social connections that deplete their energy and spirit. These are not merely practices. They represent a mindset and a way of living that transforms not only their self-perception but also the perception of the world around them. In today's discussion, we will delve into the profound truths behind this kind of beauty and explore 3 key traits that confident and wise women embody as they age gracefully. These women do not merely accept the passage of time, they thrive within it. They have learned to cultivate an inner richness that no amount of makeup can replicate, distancing themselves from distractions to live authentically and embracing simplicity to focus on what truly matters. As you delve deeper, you'll uncover how these practices can cultivate peace, joy, and fulfillment in your life, regardless of your current path. This journey isn't about forsaking self-care or disregarding appearance. Rather, it's about redirecting your attention inward, where genuine beauty and happiness flourish. By the conclusion of our discussion, you'll grasp why the most joyful and luminous individuals are those who emphasize their inner landscape above the clamor of the outside world. You'll also receive actionable insights to assist you in implementing these ideas. Embrace these principles in your life to cultivate a sense of purpose and freedom that is distinctly yours. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future content. Your support is invaluable. It enables us to keep sharing meaningful lessons and stories that inspire and empower. If you find this topic helpful or thought-provoking, would greatly appreciate it if you could like and share the video. Lastly, your feedback is incredibly important to me. If this resonates with you, please leave a comment below. If you feel there's room for improvement or you'd like us to cover a different angle, comment 0 and let us know how we can serve you better. Now, let's embark on this journey together. The first characteristic is inner richness and confidence in accepting your true self. Where does true beauty truly reside? Is it tucked away in the perfectly applied layers of makeup or the meticulously chosen attire that promises to dazzle others? Or is it something far deeper, something intangible yet profoundly impactful? Renowned author Eleanor Barnes once expressed that there are 3 forms of beauty: the beauty we display on our faces, the beauty we construct in our minds, and the beauty we nurture through our daily lives. This insight, rich in timeless wisdom, softly reminds us that physical beauty is temporary, while true beauty, the kind that remains in the hearts of those who experience it, comes from within, cultivated by experience, wisdom, and an authentic life. The women who exude this inner beauty are not always those adorned with jewels or characterized by flawless appearances. They are the individuals who have chosen to accept their true selves, flaws, eccentricities, and all. Their value is not defined by societal expectations but by the depth of their inner lives, their subtle resilience, and the steadfast assurance they possess in just being themselves. This form of beauty transcends time and trends, enchanting others with its authenticity and depth. Consider Grace Matthews, a woman who opted to live life on her own terms, as a remarkable example. Grace, a renowned author, was revered not for her looks but for her insightful. With a profound sense of self, she seldom adorned her face with makeup, yet her mere presence had the power to illuminate any space. Her secret lay not in her appearance, but in her beliefs. The most empowering act a woman can undertake is to discover how to cultivate her own happiness, regardless of her surroundings. These sentiments were not mere platitudes, they formed the bedrock of her existence. Grace derived her joy not from the approval of others, but from the deep-seated fulfillment and purpose she nurtured within. She required no polished exterior. Her inner contentment and self-assurance radiated a brilliance that eclipsed any superficial enhancement. In a similar vein, Alice Turner, a cherished figure who reached the extraordinary age of 106, embodied the essence of authenticity throughout her life. Even in her twilight years, she graced public events with her silver hair loosely tied back, her face untouched by makeup yet radiating a natural allure that captivated all. When questioned about her decision to forego cosmetics, her answer was both simple and deeply resonant: makeup feels like a mask, it conceals the true self. I wish for people to see me as I am, with all my years, experiences, and truths. Her sentiments lingered in the air. Deeply resonating with those who listened, they encapsulated a wisdom that only time can bestow. Alice's allure lay not in what she added to herself, but in the confidence she exuded by simply being herself. Her authenticity permeated her work, where her narratives featured characters who were raw, genuine, and beautifully flawed. Her friend Margaret once remarked, "Everything is beautiful when it's natural and true." Alice's life and legacy serve as a poignant reminder that true beauty resides not in the embellishments we don, but in the layers we courageously shed. A way to reveal our essence, this perspective on beauty invites a shift in focus in a world obsessed with appearances. How much energy do we spend trying to craft an image for others instead of nurturing our hearts and souls? Imagine the peace and fulfillment we could cultivate if we turned that energy inward toward self-love, growth, and acceptance. What if we allowed ourselves to simply be? True beauty is found in the confidence to stand unapologetically in your truth, the courage to love yourself in every season. Life unfolds with the wisdom to honor your unique journey. It resides in the quiet elegance of a woman who understands she has nothing to prove, her worth untouched by the opinions of others. It is found in the depth of her smile, the grace in her voice, and the richness of her inner world. Rather than concealing yourself behind masks, allow your true self to shine through. Embrace the lines on your face, they narrate your story. Wear your authenticity with pride, for it is the rarest and most valuable accessory you will ever possess, as beautifully illustrated by Alice Turner's life. True beauty emanates from within. It's not about pursuing an unattainable ideal, it's about having the bravery to present your true self, to live authentically, and to cultivate a spirit so vibrant and abundant that it resonates with everyone around you. Allow your inner essence to radiate. It is, and will always be, your most significant creation. Another aspect is to distance yourself from superfluous social connections and focus on your own journey. Have you ever taken a moment to contemplate the relationships that fill your time and energy? Do they bring joy to your heart, or do they leave you feeling drained and burdened? Obligations that contribute little to our lives can often feel overwhelming in a world filled with distractions and constant demands. Those who have gained wisdom, particularly women who have learned from their experiences, recognize a significant truth: our energy is both sacred and limited. The way we choose to allocate it deeply influences the quality of our lives. If you are still engaged with this video and find these insights valuable, please comment one below to show your presence. Life is not about seeking approval or counting acquaintances. As we journey through life, we come to realize that the essence of our existence lies in the quality of our inner peace and the relationships that enhance our experience without sacrificing our well-being. There exists a profound liberation in distancing ourselves from superfluous connections, an expression of self-love that empowers us to embrace our true selves. This is not a matter of severing ties out of resentment, but rather a celebration of our inner landscape and a reclamation of our right to a life filled with meaning and purpose. Envision the strength found in solitude, a sanctuary where you can inhale deeply and create with abandon. Nurture your dreams. Solitude is not a void, it's a canvas for self-discovery and creativity. The philosopher Henry Taylor captured this sentiment perfectly when he said true independence is more valuable than shallow connections. And it's true, independence doesn't mean being alone, it means being whole. It's about choosing quality over quantity, depth over superficiality. Consider the story of Harper, an inspiring example of this philosophy in action, an author whose brilliance was recognized late in life, building her legacy on the foundation of Intentional living, she once wrote, the world belongs to those who claim it for themselves, not to those who seek permission from others. This simple yet powerful idea shaped her life's journey. She and her husband shared a unique understanding during their marriage. They nurtured their passions. He tended his garden while she poured her heart into her craft. Their lives were rich, not because they filled them with endless social engagements, but because they respected each other's need for peace and purpose. After her husband's passing, as she immersed herself deeper into her craft, one day she encountered an old acquaintance while out for a walk. What started as a simple greeting quickly devolved into a draining, one-sided conversation. Reflecting on the experience later, she humorously remarked that it felt less like a stroll and more like a press conference. This moment reinforced her determination to minimize unnecessary interactions, enabling her to concentrate on her writing by valuing solitude and significant pursuits. Ultimately, she accomplished what many only dare to dream. Her first essay collection was published at the age of 92, garnering critical acclaim. By the time she reached the age of 103, her collected works had left an enduring legacy, demonstrating that stepping away from draining relationships allows for the creation of space for our most profound achievements. Marie Curie, the legendary scientist, shared a similar perspective. When she and her husband were newly married, they owned just 2 chairs. When advised to purchase more for guests, she famously replied that if they had more chairs, people would visit and they would spend their time entertaining instead of working. Their choice to prioritize research over social expectations speaks volumes. Resulted in transformative revelations that altered the course of history. The takeaway is both straightforward and deep. Embracing authenticity requires the bravery to let go of what no longer benefits you. This doesn't imply withdrawing from the world, but instead, it involves crafting a life rich with purpose, where each moment resonates with your principles and dreams. Solitude isn't merely a lack of connection, it's the opportunity to engage with your true self. In those tranquil moments, you explore your identity, free from the clamor of external judgments or anticipations. Discover the weight of social obligations that have lost their luster and grant yourself the grace to retreat. Cultivate a haven of tranquility within, a realm where your essence can thrive. Safeguarding your energy is not an act of selfishness, it is a necessity. By discerning where and how to allocate your time, you enable your spirit to expand and your aspirations to materialize. Embracing your own presence fosters a serene assurance that resonates with others, liberating you to exist authentically and without reservation. There is no need for the seeking the world's approval to carve out your niche within it. Your energy stands as your most invaluable asset. Treasure it, respect it, and allocate it judiciously. In doing so, you'll find that the most significant connections, including the one you foster with yourself, will organically thrive in the environments you've thoughtfully cultivated. Another essential aspect is embracing simplicity with a generous spirit. The insightful Eleanor Grant once articulated a deep truth: all individuals exist enveloped in the layers of their decisions, akin to the garments they don. This notion transcends mere poetry. Observation speaks to the very essence of our lives, reminding us that every decision we make and every value we hold dear shapes the identity we present to the world. Women who possess a quiet, enduring beauty seem to have unlocked a profound secret about life. They consciously choose simplicity, not as a limitation but as a path to true richness. Their lives are uncluttered by the incessant demands of modern consumerism, and their focus lies not on accumulating material possessions but on nurturing a full heart, content, and at peace. These women are profoundly linked to what truly matters, reminiscent of a serene river meandering through the mountains, unrushed, steady, and untouched by surrounding chaos. They do not crave validation from others or the allure of luxurious adornments or ostentatious attire. Rather, they discover satisfaction in nurturing an inner realm that exudes tranquility and intention. Their beauty is subtle and genuine, inviting you in softly, much like the warm glow of sunlight streaming through the trees on an autumn afternoon. Allow me to recount the tale of my neighbor, Mrs. Eleanor Adams, whose life serves as a continuous wellspring of inspiration for me. Eleanor personifies the essence of simplicity. Her mere presence exudes wisdom and grace. She resides not in a lavish mansion, nor does she cruise in an extravagant vehicle. Her home, though modest, is warm and welcoming, infused with the soothing aroma of lavender and the gentle strains of classical music that fill the air. Every aspect of her surroundings feels deliberate, from the rustic wooden furniture that radiates charm. Decades of use have shaped the simple vases of fresh flowers she places by the window, and Eleanor's wardrobe mirrors this same sense of calm and clarity. She doesn't follow fleeting trends or chase after the latest fashion. Instead, she opts for soft, timeless cotton dresses, always clean and neatly pressed, exuding a simple elegance that feels unshakable. While others in the neighborhood rush to flaunt the newest designer bags or glittering jewels, Eleanor's quiet style speaks volumes. She doesn't require extravagance to shine. Her aura is enough. Peace and contentment adorn her being. What captivates me most is not merely Eleanor's outward simplicity, but the profound richness of her inner life. Her days brim with activities that resonate with her values and passions. She delights in painting, and as she positions herself at her wooden easel by the sunlit window, it seems as if time itself takes a pause. Her hands move with intention, each brushstroke narrating a story, each hue conveying an emotion. Her paintings are the kind that could grace a gallery, yet they are masterpieces of the heart, filled with serene scenes of nature. Villages and the serenity she carries within Eleanor's life evoke a profound truth I've come to embrace. Happiness isn't rooted in material possessions but in the moments we cherish. She discovers joy in what many might overlook: a perfectly brewed cup of herbal tea, the rustling of leaves outside her window, or the sight of a single butterfly fluttering through her garden. Her days unfold as a celebration of life's simplest yet most profound gifts, and her gratitude for these moments resonates deeply. The simplicity of Eleanor's existence is truly inspiring. Practices isn't about deprivation, it's about an abundance of the right kind. Her life is rich, not with material wealth, but with a wealth of love, peace, and authenticity. There's a quiet wisdom in how she lives, a reminder that by letting go of what doesn't matter, we create space for what truly does. Her serene demeanor and sparkling eyes seem to hold the secret to a fulfilling life. It's as though her calm presence mirrors the stillness of a lake at sunset, undisturbed and deeply connected to the beauty around it. This philosophy of simplicity has resonated with many profound minds. Margaret Alcott once remarked that a genuinely elegant woman does not showcase her possessions, her beauty is rooted in her way of life. Eleanor embodies this idea flawlessly. She does not strive to impress or compete but instead lives in alignment with her values. She illustrates that true beauty is found not in material things but in one's purpose, and that elegance is a manifestation of the soul rather than the attire. If you are still engaged with this video and find these insights valuable, please comment below to share your thoughts. Your presence alongside me evokes thoughts of Eleanor's life, reminiscent of the sentiments expressed by Evelyn Parker. She suggested that women embody the essence of wildflowers, beautiful and enchanting, yet never gaudy or overdone. Their subtle existence creates a profound impact. Eleanor's understated beauty certainly leaves a lasting impression on all who encounter her. She does not pursue transient trends or shallow delights, rather, she nurtures a joy that flourishes with time, grounded in deep connections, authentic self-expression, and the beauty of simplicity. As I age, I embrace the profound realization that figures like Eleanor have long understood: the less we hold on to what is superfluous, the more liberated we become. Embracing simplicity does not mean foregoing joy, rather, it invites us to discover it in the most surprising corners of existence. It is an awakening to the truth that the most invaluable treasures, love, peace, and connection, are beyond monetary reach. Choosing to live simply, with a heart full of richness, transcends mere preference. It is a tribute to oneself and the life bestowed upon us. It embodies a commitment to reject the Amidst the distractions and pressures of the world, we must say yes to what truly matters. It's about discovering joy in the everyday and savoring the quiet moments that make life worthwhile. Figures like Eleanor show us that simplicity is not the absence of ambition but rather the presence of wisdom. Their lives inspire us to slow down, look inward, and embrace the extraordinary beauty found in the ordinary. With their quiet strength and steady grace, they remind us that a life well lived reflects the richness of the heart, not the size of the bank account. Eleanor's life has imparted invaluable lessons, not only about simplicity but also about the legacy I aspire to create. This legacy is not defined by material possessions or achievements, but rather by love, kindness, and an open heart that embraces the world's beauty. For this, I will always hold deep gratitude. At the conclusion of today's discussion, I wish to share a profoundly personal and transformative narrative from my life, one that reshaped my understanding of love, trust, and family. I call it The Forgotten Girl. It was a crisp. On an autumn morning in Vermont, the air was crisp and invigorating, and the trees were ablaze with vibrant colors. Just a week into my marriage, I was still enveloped in the gentle bliss of being newlywed, attempting to find my footing in our shared life. That morning, I chose to explore the small farmers market in town, a charming and serene spot where the rich aroma of fresh vegetables blended harmoniously with the delightful scent of baked treats. It marked my first effort at establishing a simple routine as James's wife, and I relished the tranquility of the moment. The everyday rhythm of it as I reached for a perfectly ripe tomato when a woman approached me. Her warm smile seemed friendly, yet her eyes held a weight that unsettled me. She resembled someone who had known me for years even though I didn't recognize her. "You must be Sarah Bennett," she said, her voice steady yet probing. "The new wife of James, right?" I smiled nervously and nodded while my mind raced. Who was this woman? And how did she know so much about me? She leaned in slightly, her tone shifting to something softer, almost cautious. "What?" she said. Next hit me like a thunderbolt. "You didn't know James has a 4-year-old daughter, did you?" The world seemed to freeze. Her words were so unexpected, so shocking that for a moment I couldn't even breathe. My hands trembled, and before I knew it the shopping bag I was holding slipped from my grasp. The tomatoes and carrots I'd carefully picked out scattered across the market floor, but I couldn't bring myself to move. The woman must have seen the shock written all over my face, because her voice softened even more. "I'm so sorry," she spoke softly. "I didn't mean to upset you, but I thought you should know." The clamor of the market faded into the background as her words echoed in my mind. "James has a daughter, a 4-year-old daughter. How could this be possible? Why had he never told me?" Sensing my confusion, the woman offered to explain and led me to a nearby cafe. I followed her, though my legs felt heavy. We settled by a window overlooking the bustling street, but I could hardly see anything through the storm of emotions swirling within me. She began to speak, her words unfolding. As I unraveled the story, I found myself unprepared for the revelation. The woman spoke of Emily, who had been living with James's Aunt Martha ever since her mother left. Emily's mother, Laura, and James shared a complicated history. Laura had wanted him to marry her, but he had refused. Some whispered that this was James's way of atoning for his past mistakes. With each word, my chest tightened, and my heart broke further. How could James conceal something so significant from me? A child was not a minor detail, it was a life, a part of him that he had kept hidden. The sense of betrayal was overwhelming. Like a tidal wave, it overwhelmed everything I believed about the man I had just married. I could no longer listen. Her voice faded into a distant hum, akin to the muffled roar of a storm. I excused myself from the cafe, barely managing to whisper a thank you before I left. Once home, I sat in silence for what felt like hours, staring blankly at the wall as her words echoed in my mind. The doubt, the pain, the disbelief, all gnawed at me, refusing to let go. I knew I couldn't allow this to fester. I needed answers, no matter how much it would hurt later. That afternoon, I made the choice to face the truth directly. I drove for over an hour to James's Aunt Martha's house, my hands clutching the steering wheel so tightly that my knuckles turned white. The journey felt agonizingly long, each mile laden with unanswered questions. When I finally arrived, Martha welcomed me at the door, her smile warm yet cautious. Her eyes, however, shied away from mine, revealing everything I needed to understand. And then I saw her. Emily was on the living room floor, her small hands delicately threading beads onto a string. She glanced up for a moment, her dark curls framing a face that bore an uncanny resemblance to James's, leaving me momentarily breathless. My heart felt as if it had stopped. There she was, the child I hadn't known existed, the living proof of James's secret. Turning to Martha, my voice quivered as I asked, "Is she James's daughter?" Martha hesitated, her eyes shifting away, mumbling something vague about Emily's parents being far away, but her tone lacked conviction. I didn't need her to confirm it, I already knew. The drive back home became a blur of emotions, anger swirling within me. Sadness and betrayal washed over me as I walked through the door. James was sitting on the couch, his face lighting up at the sight of me, but his smile faded the instant he registered my expression. I stood there, struggling to steady my voice, but the words escaped me, sharper than I had intended. "Is she yours?" I demanded. "Why didn't you tell me?" James's face turned pale, and he looked down, as if the weight of his secret had finally crushed him. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his voice breaking. "I was afraid. I thought you wouldn't accept her, and I didn't want to." His confession did not bring me comfort. If anything, it deepened the wound. How could I trust someone who had hidden something so important? My heart felt shattered, and I didn't know if it could ever be whole again. Without saying another word, I went upstairs and began packing my things. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. James tried to stop me, standing in the doorway, pleading with me to stay, his desperation evident in every word. The words escaped me, the pain too fresh, the betrayal too profound. I left that night, driving to my parents' house, tears streaming down my face as I fell into my mother's embrace. Ever the protector, she was furious. How could he keep something like this from you? A man who hides his child isn't worthy of being your husband, she declared. Yet, my father, the voice of calm wisdom, offered a different perspective. What James did was wrong, he said softly, but the real question is whether you still love him enough to forgive. Does he love you enough to make things right? Those words echoed in my thoughts for weeks. Over the next 6 months, James dedicated himself to rebuilding my trust. He visited my parents' home every weekend, facing my mother's cold stares and offering the same sincere apology repeatedly. Gradually, his determination started to penetrate the barriers I had erected around my heart. I chose to give him another chance, though I firmly stated that our relationship could not withstand another deception. Life settled into a new rhythm, and a year later, I welcomed a new life into the world. Our daughter Lily was a radiant presence in our lives, her laughter echoing through the halls with pure joy. Yet, even as I embraced my new role as a mother, thoughts of Emily lingered in my mind. She deserved a family as well. One evening, I turned to James and said, "It's time to bring Emily home." When Emily arrived, she appeared shy and hesitant, her wide eyes taking in the unfamiliar surroundings. I knelt down, my heart heavy with a blend of guilt and resolve, and whispered, "You're safe now," as I enveloped her in my arms. She paused for a moment, then burst into tears and clung to me tightly. From that moment, Emily became a part of our family. The road wasn't easy, there were days of doubt and frustration, but it was worth every challenge. Emily and Lily grew inseparable, and our home became a place of laughter, love, and healing. Looking back, I realized that this experience taught me the true meaning of family. It's not about perfection or ease, it's about choosing love even when it's hard. It's about forgiveness, resilience, and the willingness to rebuild even when the foundation feels fractured, yet the girl once overlooked has woven herself into the fabric of our narrative, a symbol of love's resilience amidst sorrow. As we conclude this poignant tale, I invite you to pause and reflect. Life frequently presents unforeseen trials, challenging our fortitude, our affection, and our capacity to forgive. Throughout this odyssey, I've discovered that family transcends flawlessness. It lies in accepting our shortcomings, opting for love instead of bitterness, and mustering the bravery to mend what has been shattered. Now, we would love to hear your insights on this story. What lessons stood out to you? Was it the strength found in forgiveness, the significance of honesty in relationships, or perhaps the importance of resilience when faced with betrayal? Share one key takeaway you've gained and how you intend to apply it in your life. If this story resonated with you, please share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring stories and valuable life lessons. Thank you for watching. Stay inspired and empowered, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.